On this entire earth, there have always been individuals who embark on a journey to unravel the mystery hidden beyond life and death, driven by the curiosity of truth. One such seeker is Pandit Arun Kumar Sharma. He too set out on a mystical and inspiring journey where he encountered numerous yogis. Among them was a Buddhist bhikshuni named Padmagandha, whose spiritual practice has surpassed 300 years. Despite appearing to be in her 20s, she reveals how she became a disciple of Lord Buddha in her previous life and how she enlightened Panditji with various concealed and profound secrets, one of which was how it was possible for Lord Sri Krishna to recite the entire Gita to Arjuna in the midst of that dreadful war. We welcome you in sacred Sanatana Saga. In today's video, we will learn more about the supernatural knowledge and powers of a yogini named Padmagandha, who has been in Samadhi for 300 years. When Pandit Arun Kumar Sharma was in his youth, he suddenly felt drawn towards Tibet. Upon reaching there, he says, "The sole objective of my journey to Tibet was not just amusement or geographical exploration. Rather, it was to acquaint myself with the profound and mysterious nature of yoga, tantra sadhana, and culture. It involved understanding the depth of their spiritual truths, as well as encountering the human embodiments of yogis and practitioners dwelling there, imbued with concealed sentiments. Commonly, people assume that only followers of the Buddhist faith, lamas, yogis, and practitioners reside in Tibet. However, this is a misconception. In the snowy landscapes of Tibet, there are numerous snow caves and mountain abodes where yogis and practitioners, blessed with long lives and timeless wisdom, have been residing for centuries. These beings, unknown even to the locals, make Tibet a sanctuary of spiritual exploration. In Tibet, yogis and practitioners residing in seclusion follow their own circles, known as Shishya Mandalis or disciple circles. Each mandali has a leader. The disciple mandali essentially consists of individuals who transcend the natural boundaries of the physical body, liberating themselves from worldly constraints and progress on the path of sadhana through their subtle body or mental body. They maintain equal mental connection with their leader, and the leader, in turn, guides them invisibly. Before my Tibet journey, I had the opportunity to meet such a practitioner whose mental connection was with a specific mandali. Her name was Padmagandha. Padmagandha was a Buddhist nun and was residing in Karnaprayag during those days. In a previous life, she was the daughter of a noble in Vaishali and had taken monastic vows, becoming a bhikkhuni, Buddhist nun, under the guidance of Lord Tathagata. Since then, on the path of sadhana, the soul of that bhikkhuni had reached a place where she experienced the realization of her true nature and attained the profound knowledge of the ultimate reality. Padmagandha had an extremely radiant complexion, draped in ochre robes. She had large and serene eyes, and a focused intensity in her meditation. Despite being around 100 years old, she appeared to be in her late 20s. It was the month of Kartik in the evening. The chilly northern winds made my entire body tremble as I sat wrapped in a blanket on the banks of the Tripathaga Ganga river in Devaprayag. At the same time, Sanyasini Padmagandha came there walking slowly from who knows where. I was shocked to see him suddenly near me, but without any hesitation, she sat next to me. I had a strange feeling at that time. The conversation began. First, the Buddhist nun herself asked, "Where is the dwelling place?" "Varanasi," I replied, bowing my head. "Why have you come here?" she inquired. At that moment, I couldn't fathom an immediate answer. After a brief pause, I spoke slowly. "I have come here in search of life. This is the sole purpose of my journey, to wander in this way." Upon hearing my words, Padmagandha looked deeply into my eyes. There was something in that gaze that sent a shiver through my entire body. I couldn't sleep the whole night. The image of that nun's form kept flashing before me repeatedly. Needless to say, from that day onwards, a daily satsang, spiritual discourse, started happening at the same place every evening with that Buddhist nun. I lost track of time. Whether the night melted away in whispers, or the bright moon of the Shukla Paksha disappeared behind the mountains and trees, my awareness was lost, and so was hers. Why does age or time not affect your body? I asked one day. Upon hearing the question, Padmagandha gently chuckled and said, "There is no mystery. Prana is another name for time. When one gains control over prana, they also gain control over time, resulting in age continuing to increase at its own pace, but without any impact on the body. The body remains perpetually youthful." Further explaining, she shared that from a physical standpoint, the human body is just a machine made up of flesh, marrow, blood, bones, and so on, all operated by the energy of prana. As long as the life force functions actively in the form of breath, the body serves its purpose. However, once this ceases, the three powers, prana shakti, mana shakti, and atma shakti, combine to give rise to a power beyond, transcending the limitations of time and age. After this, the Chit Shakti emerges, a power formed by the convergence of Prana Shakti, Manas Shakti, and Atma Shakti. This Chit Shakti is considered the grand power of Tantra, and its residence in the human body is the heart. As long as this power resides in the heart, the human body is synonymous with Shiva, and once it departs, it becomes lifeless, like a shav, corpse. From a spiritual perspective, the human body is referred to as Pind, individual self, a condensed or miniature form of the cosmic universe, Brahmanda. While Pind and Brahmanda are distinct, they share the same fundamental elements. The principles that constitute the cosmic universe also contribute to the formation of Poin. Everything present in the cosmic universe is also inherent in the Pin. Moreover, the truth beyond the cosmic universe, the transcendent reality, manifests itself by taking refuge in the Pine. Chishakti is also known as Chitana. Chitana has 7 states sequentially: Jagruti, wakefulness; Sushupti, deep sleep; Swapna, dream; Turiya, transcendental; Vaishvika, Vragadiya, and Brahmi. In the context of yoga, these states are referred to as the Saptabhumi, or 7 planes. Chaitana has 3 primary phases: Jiva Dasha, individual self; Shiva Dasha, universal self; and Sadashiva Dasha. Jagruti, Sushupti, and Swapna represent the Jiva Dasha. The Turiya state is associated with the Shiva Dasha. Indian sages state that the state in which this world is known through the senses is the wakeful state of Chaitana. In the waking state, the unfulfilled desires find completion in dreams. Dreams are, in fact, the fulfillment of the waking state. The difference lies in the waking state, where objects exist externally, while the form exists internally. In dreams, the object doesn't exist externally, but the form exists internally. Dreams have a pure form with no tangible objects present. The person we see in dreams isn't physically present externally, yet their form is certainly present internally. This form is also generated by the senses. This implies that dreams are also sense-generated. The term Turiya refers to the 4th state beyond waking, Jagrat, dreaming, Swapna, and deep sleep, Sushupti. These 3 states are familiar to all of us, and we experience one state at a time. Following these 3 states, there are 2 more states. One is the state of death, Mrityu, and the other is the Turiya state. The first 3 states are accessible to ordinary individuals, while the Turiya state is accessible to yogis. Hearing this, you will be amazed that upon reaching a deep state, Sushupti transforms into the state of death, in the state of pure consciousness, Chaitanya. There is never any death. When death occurs, it happens in the deep state of Sushupti. That is why the awareness of death is not present. Death takes place, but it goes unnoticed. What consciousness is there in the state of death? Nothing. Yes, after death there is awareness, and that awareness is of one's existence, oneself, and one's I. Well, the Turiya state is precisely the opposite. If examined closely, Turiya, in a sense, is the state beyond death. The only difference is that it is not in unconsciousness or deep unconsciousness, but rather, we enter Turiya in a state of complete consciousness. While explaining Sushupti, the ascetic began to say that there is no awareness of the external world, no experience of objects, and no perception of the imprints created by external objects in the accumulated mind, or the dreams formed from them. Consciousness has completely fallen asleep. There is no residue of any kind of awareness. This means that consciousness remains, but awareness ceases to exist. Life continues, but one becomes completely dormant. There is no trace of any perception. A person becomes like an inanimate object. The idea is that even though one is alive, they become inert, and this state is called Sushupti. Upon breaking the state of Sushupti, we return to the state of Jagruti. If death occurs, breaking the state of Sushupti, we awaken not in this world, but in a different realm where the environment is entirely new for us. Just as we consider dreams as unreal upon waking up, similarly, upon awakening in an unfamiliar environment in another realm, this world and this life, the physical world and physical life, appear as unreal. For those on the path of yoga, if we are practitioners, then Sushupti will transform into Samadhi for us. When we progress through the path of yoga and Sushupti becomes accessible, transforming into inert Samadhi, but its cessation, we attain the state known as Turiya. This is a special state of consciousness or the soul. In this ultimate state, only the knower remains, meaning the absence of all knowable objects. What is your point? The soul alone is the knower. The absence of all knowable objects and all knowable things occurs, leaving only the knower, which we call self-realization, self-experience, or self-perception. These are all attainments of this ultimate state, the supreme state. The last moments of the night were slowly coming to an end. The whiteness of dawn began to spread over the snow-covered peaks. In the western sky, the planet Venus started twinkling. After gazing at it for a while, she turned her head towards me and said, "Now I will go. I have to leave for Karnaprayag today." Instead of calming down, my curiosity had heightened even more. I had much to understand and much to inquire about. However, I didn't say anything and didn't even get a chance to ask. I just managed to say, "When will we meet again? Can I accompany you? If you wish to come, then come. I have no objection." With these words, the Buddhist nun moved forward slowly. Padmagandha had ignited a particular fascination and curiosity in my mind, specifically towards the subject of Yoga Tantra. There was no doubt about it. Her spiritual personality was not overly mysterious to me either. I reached Karnaprayag with her after a strenuous day, long, mountainous journey. Throughout the journey, both of us maintained silence. No one spoke a single word to anyone, but my mind was not calm. It kept surfacing with the same question repeatedly. Did this Buddhist nun truly receive initiation from Lord Tathagata? Is it true? In the end, I couldn't hold back. Upon reaching Karnaprayag, I finally asked, "Did you really receive initiation from Lord Buddha?" Unexpectedly, upon hearing my question, the nun looked at me with steady eyes once and then calmly said, "Yes, I remember the entire story of that time. Every event of that narrative is imprinted on the canvas of my mind. Not only that, after that, I have taken birth 22 times, and the memory of all those births is also preserved in my mind. What are you saying? I was shocked. Everything is the absolute truth, she said with an unwavering demeanor, without a hint of doubt or ambiguity. The doubt you have is only due to ignorance. In this universe, the most significant mystery is the Supreme Soul or God. It is an ultimate mystery, and beyond that, there is no mystery. What you doubt is caused only by ignorance. Is it possible to manifest Paramagyana, supreme knowledge? In response to my question, the nun did not provide an answer, but she indicated that it is never possible. Paramagyana is the personal attainment of a special state of nirvikalpa samadhi, and this attainment is possible for very few individuals. There is a world of an existence where everything belongs to the Supreme Soul. There is also a world of mental states where I and mine exist. Inner knowledge is the awareness of the world of mental states. It can be expressed. What we understand as knowledge is actually thoughts or feelings of someone's mind, not knowledge. True knowledge is that which manifests itself from one's own mental states. Paramagyana is the knowledge of the world of existence that belongs to the Supreme Soul. It cannot be expressed through any means or medium. Thoughts, concepts, and words are all futile for it. Among these three, Paramagyana cannot be expressed or manifested by anyone. In reality, Paramagyana is the means to liberation, which is known as Jnana Mukti. There is a world of an existence where everything belongs to the Supreme Soul. There is also a world of mental states where I and mine exist. Inner knowledge is the awareness of the world of mental states. It can be expressed. What we understand as knowledge is actually thoughts or feelings of someone's mind, not knowledge. True knowledge is that which manifests itself from one's own mental states. Paramagyana is the knowledge of the world of existence that belongs to the Supreme Soul. It cannot be expressed through any means or medium. Thoughts, concepts, and words are all futile for it. Among these three, Paramagyana cannot be expressed or manifested by anyone. In reality, Paramagyana is the means to liberation, which is known as Jnana Mukti. Its manifestation is possible where there is no speech, no words, only silence. The yogic statement, Gururstu Maun Vyahyanam, points towards this truth. As you mentioned, Paramagyana is a personal attainment, so can't someone else benefit from it? I asked. It is possible, but eligibility is required. Only a yogi can derive benefits from it. How? I inquired. Through silent dialogue, inner communication, or telepathy. Has there ever been an incident like this? Yes. Why not? The Bhagavad Gita is a remarkable example of it. The Gita? Yes, the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a profound example of Paramagyana, and its manifestation occurred through the inner dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. I didn't quite understand, I remarked. Have you ever thought about how Krishna could have conveyed the 18 chapters of the Gita to Arjuna in the midst of the battlefield? And how could Krishna have found the time to deliver the discourse while all the soldiers were present there? Were all the soldiers and Maharathas busy listening to the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna? What kind of time was it? The extended discussion with Krishna is undoubtedly a curious question. It definitely raises the question. In the battlefield, where all the warriors and Maharathis were ready to fight, die, and engage in combat, if Krishna had spoken the 18 chapters just like the way the Gita enthusiasts read, hear, or recite it, it would have taken quite some time. Even if Krishna spoke without stopping, without pause, with closed eyes, and continuously, it would have taken a considerable amount of time. There is no doubt in this, but how was it possible? For a long time, this question has echoed in people's minds. Some have even gone so far as to say that the Gita is interpolated in the Mahabharata. Some have suggested that there must have been a summary discussion between Krishna and Arjuna, followed by a detailed exposition later. Both of these assertions are incorrect. If the entire conversation took place face to face, like how we are having this dialogue, then Krishna and Arjuna wouldn't be the only participants. Every soldier, warrior, and Maharathi present there would have been part of it. The conversation involved a massive assembly of people. However, despite the large crowd, why does it seem like everyone is in silent meditation? Did no one say anything? Was there no interruption, objection, or comment? Did no one interject to say that this was not the time for discussion, doubt resolution, or dialogue? It was the time for war. Conch shells had been blown, arrows had been placed on bows, people were prepared for fighting and dying, but no one said anything. Why? Because it was a discussion and an internal dialogue. It was a silent conversation and a distant dialogue. The discussion was deep and profound, going into the inner realms. This is why the people present there couldn't become witnesses to it. The Gita is an internal dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. There is no external evidence for it. Therefore, it wasn't audible to anyone. However, Sanjaya, sitting far from the battlefield, could hear that internal dialogue, which someone with extraordinary vision could perceive even from a distance. Later, everyone heard the Gita through Sanjaya, and afterward, historians, writers, poets, and scholars became familiar with it. But first and foremost, the only one to hear and become acquainted with the Gita was Arjuna. However, his hearing was internal and profound. Needless to say, the measurement of time during such internal dialogues is different. It requires understanding. Without comprehending it, one cannot become acquainted with the profound objectives of internal dialogue. Any and every work involves time. However, internal dialogue or distant perception is something beyond the confines of time. It transcends the limitations of time. For example, in a dream, you might see your entire life unfold: marriage, job, buying a house, children growing up, and your son's wedding with the sound of wedding music. And then you wake up, you check the clock, and you know that barely a minute has passed. It becomes challenging to comprehend how a lifetime, which takes 30 to 40 years to live, unfolded in just a minute. Yet, it happened. The pace of time in dreams is entirely different. You can witness an entire lifetime in a single minute. Dream time is distinct, separate from waking time. Even in the waking state, the scale of time is not uniform. There is a constant transformation, such as when you are in pain, time seems prolonged, and when in joy, time appears to fly. The clock ticks away consistently, but your perception of time within your mind fluctuates continuously, sometimes feeling short, sometimes long. In a moment, something can occur that may take hours to write or speak. The dream you witnessed in a moment, if you were to put it into words, would take at least 4 hours. You might wonder in amazement, I saw it in a moment, and it's taking 4 hours to write it down. What could be the reason? The reason is that when an event happens within you, it occurs simultaneously. For instance, as I am observing you, I see you all at once, in a single moment, and it's completely seen. It happened all at once, somewhere. If I were to write your name, it would take time. When you dream, events happen simultaneously, and when you write them down on paper, you are expressing them sequentially, which makes the process time-consuming. Each event you write becomes lengthy, taking more time. The dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, the Antar, Samvat, or distant perception that happened on the battlefield of war, when Sanjaya narrated it to Dhritarashtra, might have taken as much time as it would take for you to read the entire Bhagavad Gita and understand its meaning. However, imagining how much time it took between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield is challenging for anyone. Today's video will pause here, and this thrilling and mysterious story does not conclude here. Padmagandha continues her journey to other places, and once again, Pandit Arun follows her to the remote location she mentioned. There, Padmagandha reveals her body, which has been in a meditative state for 300 years, and further narrates the complete story of how she became a disciple of Lord Buddha. If you wish for us to create a video on this as well, please let us know in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. Thank you all for your time. See you in the next video.